Feeling the breath moving in and out. Feeling our grounding and our connection to the surface beneath us, down into the earth. Bringing the palms together at the heart. Interlace the fingers and press the hands out and lift them up to the sky. As you lift them up, press the index fingers up to the ceiling. Let the pinky fingers drop down so that the palm is nice and flat. And the upper arms are pressing back as far as you comfortably can. Knit the front ribs in and down and try to expand the breath into the side ribs. Excellent. Now palms will face each other. So we're going to flip our hands, palms face, index fingers point up, but the other fingers curl around. Squeeze the upper arms around the ears and begin to trace a circle in the ceiling. So we're inhaling and opening through all of those portions of the rib cage. And we'll go in the other direction. Good. As you come back to center, release the hands, make a spinal twist. Your right hand will come across the body to the left knee. And then you'll look back over the left shoulder, dropping the chin down, breathing. Exhaling back to center. Inhaling here in the center. And with your next exhale, just simply twist to the other side. Looking back over the right shoulder and dropping the head down. Excellent. Back to center and back to tabletop. So here we find ourselves in tabletop, toes tuck, downward facing dog, hips lift up and back. Let's take 5 breaths here. Awake and active in our down dog, consciously spreading the shoulder blades away from the spine, knitting the front ribs into the body, lifting up on the kneecaps, sending the heels down to the floor. One more breath. Good. Exhale, look to your hands and walk your feet up to your hands. Feet are hips distance apart. We'll inhale up halfway, lengthening heart to horizon. And as you exhale, take a nice deep fold. Let your head drop down. You might even reach your hands behind the calves and elbows behind the knees, and use a little strength here of the arms to pull you in deeper. The weight is forward in the balls of the foot. So we just don't want the hips really, really far behind the heels. We want to try to feel that the hips are right above the heels. That will really get good into the hamstrings. All right, bend the knees deeply. Chest and thighs are touching here. Exhale fully, and on your inhale, we'll roll up one vertebrae at a time. And take a moment at the top, feeling the breath. Samastitihi, palms to the heart. Just noticing your grounding and your connection once more from the hips down through the legs and feet, like that tree trunk anchored through the lower body. And we'll step wide on the mat, facing whichever direction you like, preparing for wide-legged forward fold. Outer edges of the feet parallel. Yep. Good. Hands to the hips. We'll inhale, lift the chin, open the front body.
And exhale, hinging from hips, come forward and down. Hands onto the floor. Over time, walking the fingertips back into alignment with the toe tips. Head drops, gaze is somewhere behind you. Weight forward into the ball of the foot. Hamstrings nice and activated. Stretching, lengthening. We'll inhale up halfway. And please exhale, hands to hips. Soften the knees if you like, and we'll come all the way up with a flat back. Excellent. Right toes turn out. Make your stance maybe a little bit shorter for triangle pose. Send the arms up. We'll exhale, shift from the hips, reaching out and out through that right side. Let your hand come down, gaze up to the base of the thumb. Revolving the heart open, left shoulder stacked on top of right. Now we're going to keep our triangle as is and just make it an extended triangle by reaching this left arm overhead. So turn the palm to face in the same direction as your head and then reach that arm. So long as you can keep that arm straight, you want to reach it overhead, wrapping the tricep side of that arm toward the face and breathing into that wonderful depth of stretch through the side body. With your exhale, shift your arm straight up to center, gaze goes down. With your inhale, come back up out of the pose with the strength of your back leg. And we'll switch the feet. Left toes turn out, right toes turn in a bit. Exhale, shift the pelvis, reach, 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 and let your hand come down. Stay here in triangle, really finding the posture, refining it as best you can, lengthening the spine. Now, right palm turns to face overhead, and you'll reach that arm. So long as you can keep it straight, wrap the tricep of side of that arm towards the face. Breathing, breathing. Exhale, gaze down, arms straight up to the sky. Inhale, come back up to center. Excellent. Right toes turn out. Bit of a wider stance this time. We're going to bend that right knee down into warrior two. So feeling your strength here, feeling the solid quality of your legs, feeling the depth of opening in the hips. Extended side angle. Reach the torso far forward. Bring the right elbow to rest onto the thigh. Left palm turns up and reach that arm again, as long as you can keep it straight and wrap the tricep towards the face. Reach that arm overhead. If you're pretty comfortable in this pose and you can drop your fingertips down to the floor, to the inside of your knee, you can take that position. So long as your chest doesn't collapse in doing so, we want to stay nice and open. But with elbow here on the knee, this is plenty good. Have a feeling of dropping that front hip forward and down toward your front heel. Getting really into the hips here. And press your elbow against the thigh to try to lift the torso a bit more away from the thigh. One more breath. Good. Exhale, release that arm down. Come out of the pose. Roll the shoulders a few times. And then let's switch the feet. So left toes are pointing out now. Bending down into warrior two, feeling that strength in your legs supporting you. All right, extended side angle. Reach the torso forward, elbow to knee, right palm turning up and reaching again straight through that arm. Sink the hips nice and low. Also notice if that hip behind you is coming far back. You want to try to move that left hip under the body. And always you're welcome to reach the fingertips to the floor and really go for it if that's available to you. If not, staying right here, focusing on pressing elbow down into the knee and revolving the torso open. Good, we'll take one more breath. Nice, and exhale, release. Straighten the leg, roll the shoulders, right toes turn out, same position here. Bending down, hands are gonna stay down just for a moment here, just the legs of warrior two. We're gonna reverse this now. So this left hand will come down the left leg, right palm turns up, and then reach up and out of this right hip. So right hip is moving forward and down, and then breath is lifting right ribs up out of the pelvis. Good. And slowly release, and we'll switch sides. Left toes turning out, hands to hips, bending down into that warrior two position. Right hand reaches down right leg, left palm turns up. Take your reverse warrior, breathing into left side ribs. Our transition will be a little different here. So take your last breath in. And as you exhale, bring your hands down onto the mat and step back into downward facing dog. Walk it out, pedaling the legs. Okay, right leg will lift up to the sky. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, step it forward between the hands. And make sure that you've got your right knee aligned above the right ankle. Hands are on either side. You're welcome to use blocks. Blocks are a great idea in the hands, or you can have your hands on the mat. Slide your back toes back until the heel's just above the toes there. We're in a nice high lunge. Inhale, lift the hips up, and exhale, pulse down, down into those hips. Inhale, lift. Exhale, pulse down. Feel the thighs kind of scissoring apart there. And then one more. All right, the hips come down. Now both of your hands will move to the inside. You might use blocks for this. And you might also heel toe your foot a little wider out to the edge of your mat. So we've got our hands on blocks. Our back knee is staying lifted. Sink down into the hips. We're going to stay for a few breaths, super intense. If you can come onto your forearms on blocks, come onto forearms, or not. Stay up on your hands. Breathe. Try to relax your jaw, but really use your breath. All right, now drop the back knee down. Come up onto the hands, top of the foot on the mat, and let your right knee fall out to the side. Down into the hips. Right knee falling out to the side. And breathing. Again, you can come onto forearms on blocks or forearms on floor. That is particularly helpful if you have wrist issues going on and you don't want to bear a lot of weight on the hands, if your hips will allow it. If your hips won't allow you to come down onto your forearms, you can always make a fist and stay up on your blocks in this fist, and that keeps the wrist joint nice and straight. Okay, let's come out of this. Pull the weight back onto the left knee, right leg straightens, hands come on either side, and flex the right toes up towards the knee. Drop the head down, hamstring stretch. And coming forward again. So foot down and bringing your left hand onto a block underneath the shoulder, right hand on top of the knee, press down into the knee and twist the spine. So we're still in that nice low lunge, but we're now using the strength of our arm to find a twist for the spine. So just breathe with this as best you can. Excellent. Please return to center. Move your blocks off to the side for a moment. Plant your palms, step your right foot back, and come into downward facing dog. Oh, shake that out. Whatever you need to do to release the hips a bit here in your down dog.
Now we'll change sides. We're going to do all those postures on the left, starting by lifting the left leg up into extended down dog. Now we'll step that left foot forward between the palms and making sure that the knee is above the ankle. Really good idea to use blocks under the hands here. Go ahead and slide your back foot back. We want the heel just above the toes. So it is a super, super long, long stance. We'll inhale, hips up. Exhale, pulse down into the hips. Inhale to back out of this. Exhale, pulsing down. One more. I'm pressing down. Okay, so the hips are low, the back knee stays lifted. The blocks move to the inside of the foot. Maybe heel toe your left foot wider out to the edge of your mat. We're going to either stay here on your hands, you can come up onto your fists, or you can come down onto your forearms, keeping that back knee lifted, breathing crazy into the hips. Feeling your strength of your core supporting you, the strength of your arms supporting you, and especially the power of your breath supporting you. Release the knee down. Top of the feet on the floor. And we're going to let that left knee now fall out to the side. So the sole of the foot opens to the midline. The left knee falls out to the side, and you either stay up here on your fists, on your hands, or on your forearms as you breathe into the hip. Hands come down. Shift the weight onto your back knee. So this right leg now straightens. The toes pull up. Hands can be on blocks or on the floor as you release into a hamstring stretch. And then coming forward again, finding that same lunge position, right hand on a block underneath the right shoulder. So wrist is directly under the shoulder, left hand on top of the left knee. Press down into the hand to revolve the spine into a twist, even as the hips are sinking forward and down. So deep lunge, deep spinal twist. Good. And back to center, please. Release. Blocks off to the side. Step that foot back. And rather than down dog this time, sway your hips a bit side to side, almost like you're going to sit down to the floor, and feel that open through the outer hip and glutes. One more time on each side. And we'll sit back into child's pose. Hips onto the heels, forehead down to the mat. Arms are extended, but they're relaxed. So everything is at rest here, giving us an opportunity to breathe and feel into our new hips.